Today we're going to be talking about 7 critical steps for reviewing your next GC's bid for your project. Very first step is make sure you have a complete set of drawings. What is the complete set of drawings? Your complete architectural plans, civil plans, structural plans, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing plans. Now, if you have a retail center, you may not have mechanical plans. Another very important thing that a lot of owners forget to submit is a soil test report, also known as geotech report. So make sure you have a complete package to submit. Step number 2, make sure that all GCs get the same sets of plans. Now, you may be submitting a bid set or a permitted set. The difference between the two is that a bid set is not yet permitted, but it is a complete set of construction drawings, whereas a permit set is actually permitted by the city and approved, so you will be submitting that. To make sure that you have the most updated set, you can request that from your engineer architect to make sure that the dates are updated. How you can check the dates is on the title block. You will see the most updated drawing set, and if that's the one you have, that is what you are submitting to all of your pre-qualified GCs.
Step number 3, you need to make sure that you have a responsibility matrix. Although many of the plans do have responsibility matrix on there, but there are certain items which are not on the plans, and you have to make sure that when you are comparing your bids with other GCs, you want to make sure that everyone's including and excluding the same items. Therefore, responsibility matrix becomes very important. This is Max Builder's responsibility matrix that we have made for a specific project. It was a warehouse. So it has been divided into the CSI divisions. First one, general requirements, then you have civil, concrete, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, line by line, we are going over what is furnished and installed by the owner, what will be furnished and installed by the GC, and if there's anything that's furnished by the vendors. So a lot of times people will have kitchen equipment which is by vendor, and the vendor is the one installing it. A lot of times in restaurants we have that, in convenience stores we have that. So for this specific project, we don't have any responsibilities for the vendor. Responsibility matrix can be created by you. We also have our responsibility matrix. If you click on the YouTube video below, you will see our responsibility matrix that you can download for your specific project. Step number 4, which is the most important step. You will be now also sending the bid tabulation with your bid package. So the bid tabulation looks similar to this, and it is in CSI divisions. As you can see, division 1 is general requirements, division 2 site construction, and it goes on. Now, what I would do if I was the owner, I would either delete these 2 or just hide it for now. I would submit this with, actually this as well. Let me hide. Okay, there you go. So I would submit this with the bid package and ask the GCs to not only just submit their bid proposal, but also plug in the numbers on here. So that way, when I get my numbers from my GCs, I am able to just copy and paste and put the other 2 bids side by side. Now, GC1, let's say GC1 is Max Builders. Let me open okay. So this is what our bid looks like. Of course, not every GC will be submitting a very detailed bid. Not every GC follows the CSI division, which are your construction divisions. So, but in our case, we do. So for supervisor, for this specific project, we're charging $16,000. It's an 8-month long project. And you have a shared project manager, which we are charging $8,000 for. So what I would do is go here and go all the way up. So for project manager, I was charging $8,000, and superintendent, I am charging $16,000. Let's say GC2 is charging $5,000, and they don't have a project manager. That's all that they're charging. Now, you will add GC3 is on the contrary much higher. They're charging $25,000 for super, and they're charging $10,000 for a project manager. And your internal budgets, of course, you can create your internal budgets as well. Now, another thing, if you notice under general requirements, it is very detailed. So if there are certain things which do not apply to your project, now not every project will have a project coordinator, project executive, and will not have all of these items. You can delete for your specific project, or if you're unaware what is included, what is excluded in the bid package that you are submitting, you may let the GC know, leave the areas blank which do not apply to this project. What this practice does is actually helps you compare all numbers side by side. The reason we have 3 bids is because the general rule of the thumb is you want to have at least 3 pre-qualified GCs, and you want to then compare numbers side by side all together. A lot of times people are just looking at the bottom line number and not comparing by division. If you're able to compare by division, like for example over here, GC2 is $5,000. Me as an owner, when I see that GC3 and GC1 are somewhat close to one another, but GC2 is much lower, I want to ask why is, or I would want to ask, what is your supervisor's background and how long will they be on the site day to day. So this is a note for myself that I will be asking them in the bid review meeting. This would be an alarming thing to me because they're significantly lower than the GC1 and GC3. So what you do is, put your comments, and then you'll put your internal budgets in there as well. For example, one GC is at $16,000, the other one's $25,000. So you will say, well, $15,000 is a good internal number based on my internal review of these bids, and that's what you'll do throughout. But you will be submitting this with your bid package, which means with your plans and the soil report, and you will be hiding GC2, 3 internal budgets because you just want each GC to fill out just this line item, and then later you will be compiling all the numbers together. step 5 is basically your internal practice of putting all the numbers together, adding your notes, looking at everything side by side, which I described in the step number 4, what you're going to be doing once you've received all the numbers. Also, another important thing to do is when you're submitting your bid package, submit to all GCs at one time and provide them with one bid submittal due date. This has happened so many times where we have submitted a bid, but the clients have not received bids from other GC, and then we have to wait another 2 weeks or so. It is a good practice to have everyone bid at the same time and provide one due date for the bid submittal. Now, if for any reason someone's a week late, then that's fine, that you can decide on your own, but you should have one specific due date when you should be anticipating all of the GC's bids. Step number 6. Now, what I have done for this one is, this is something that was sent to us by the client. I've added these 2 rows, which is a GC that was low, medium, and then max was on the higher side, right? So I've just put in some numbers here and there. So you see max is at 7,200, they're at 5,000. So you'll review everything. Where there's a drastic difference, like over here, for example, there's a drastic difference in pricing, especially on the low side. I will add my notes, internal notes, just to make sure that have they actually included all of the paving area, because it is a large difference. So this is important for me to know from the lower side, and then I want to know why they're significantly higher as well. They may be including something that doesn't need to be included. So just adding notes and highlighting this so I can go back and look at it. That is step 6. Now on to step 7. Step 7, you can see one of Max's bids. There are divided by divisions, which in the other slide you saw that these are the pricing. And then if you go all the way to the end, you have details. Now, not every GC will include details in the very end of their bid, but it is important for you to see certain details, especially when it comes to site work, when it comes to let's see, your paving area. So you are making sure that the square footage is all being accounted for. The concrete is what it is as per plan, so you want to look at those details. That is your step number 7. So guys, these are the 7 critical steps that you need to do in order to review your bids. Do not look at just the bottom line. Go division by division, look at inclusions, look at exclusions, look at details, look at everything in order to review the bid, and then schedule your bid review meeting with your each pre-qualified GC. Now like and subscribe to our channel for more information on commercial construction.